It's Futurama the Game!
Ah, Futurama, Matt Groening's other popular adult cartoon. You probably already know the story. It was cancelled, then brought back, then cancelled again, and then it was brought back again quite recently. Why is this relevant? Well, before its first cancellation, it got a tie-in game for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, developed by a studio that doesn't even have a Wikipedia page and went under not too long after. The game has mixed reviews and is currently very expensive. You might be wondering, why am I even bother mentioning it? Well, the game does include members from the Futurama team. It was written by Jason Burns, who wrote a bunch of early episodes. Christopher Ting, who composed for the series, worked on the game. Billy West, Katie Sagal, John DiMaggio, Maurice LaMarche, Tress MacNeil, and David Herman voiced their respective characters. So the game does have things for it to feel like an episode of Futurama. So much so that the cutscenes were edited and released as a bonus for the Beast with a Billion Bags DVD. Is the game worth playing then?
No!
If you're a hardcore fan, I guess. But if you want to experience the story, there are other ways, such as the DVD I mentioned earlier, or watching the cutscenes on YouTube. I play the PS2 version on the actual console through methods. And yeah, it runs at 30 frames, but it struggles to even reach that at times, mostly when there were a lot of enemies. The Xbox version probably is more stable, so if for whatever reason you're getting the game on a console, get the Xbox version. But I doubt anyone is actually gonna do that, so just emulate the game because it's easier and cheaper. The only reason I did it on a console is because I wanted to justify having bought a PS2. As for the story, the professor announces he sold Planet Express to Mom, which leads to her owning more than 50% of Earth, making her the supreme ruler. Everyone decides to leave Earth, but find the ship broken. The professor gives everyone a task, in Fry's case to find a hammer, in which he dies once obtaining it.
It was so funny!
And the game introduces the way the character canonically responds, a giant toaster.
And I've been trying to kill you to test it ever since.
The professor gives us another task, which is to find tools around Planet Express, so more busy work. I will say that it's neat to explore such locations from the show, seeing rooms like the living room, Soybert's office, and Hermes' office. We even get to see Hermes, but you can't interact with him. It's sad that we don't get to interact with him. I like Phil Lamar as Hermes. Lauren Tom as Amy is also missing, which makes me wonder if it wasn't in the budget to get them. We get the tools, but the professor needs a dark matter engine. Unfortunately, he pawned the spare one.
You pawned it? Why? For the same reason everyone pawns everything in America. To get a gun.
We're gonna take 2 to 3 hours of gameplay to even leave the planet. We go through the sewers, then the underground, then Old New York, and finally the Red Light District. To me, Fry's section had the more interesting environments. I already talked about Planet Express, but exploring Old New York and the Red Light District were neat. I love that Fry mentions being robbed in Old New York.
Old New York. Over there's where I first got mugged. Homeless people.
And in the Red Light District, you would see the tubes all around and even find a... can I even say what that is? You do get cutscenes of the enemies between some of the levels, but there is not much to note.
I know I'm supposed to like robot women, but sometimes, well,
You like human women?
no, robot men.
Oh.
Gameplay-wise, Fry has a gun. I will say that my dumbass thought that you could only shoot through charging, and I mean the text only shows you the square button, so like for an hour, I didn't press the X button to shoot normally. Also, you can auto-aim with R1, and I don't know why you wouldn't use it. I didn't use it for an hour either. My stupidity aside, you also get a shotgun, a Tommy gun, and only in the last level do you get a big, powerful gun, and they all scale power respectively. Anyway, let's start platforming. The platforming in this game is not good. It's hard to describe the feelings of the controls. The best way to put it is that it feels as if they are still figuring out how 3D platformers control. I do remember the jumps feeling sort of heavy. I did eventually get used to it. But there is a section where you have to jump on moving alligators, and I hated it. Their detections are not good, which made me repeat the section multiple times. But what's worse is that there's a lot of waiting for the alligators to come around. Oh god! The game somehow expects you to try to obtain all the money with the alligators. I am so glad I decided to play casually. Alright, I almost forgot about the collectibles. There are only two. Yeah, only two. The Nimblers and the character's respective currency. Fry is money, Bender is rubies, and Leyla is gold bars. Whenever you obtain 25, you get an extra life. And that's it. You're not rewarded with anything for collecting all the money, just extra lives. As for the Nimblers, you just unlock things such as music, cutscenes, and loading screens. Yeah, loading screens. I get the music and cutscenes, but why the loading screens? There is also the problem that whenever you revisit a level, you would need to recollect all the Nimblers you already obtained. So it's not worth getting the collectibles as you don't really get anything worthwhile that you can't search on the internet. Anyway, we have a chicken walker section in which then the game becomes a rail shooter. I will admit that it took me a while to get used to the aiming. I mean, look at the crosshair. It's hard to know where it's gonna hit. I did eventually get a feeling for it, and I was able to progress decently. Then finally obtained the dark matter engine for the pawn shop. I just want to note that in the Lost Adventure version, Fry just shoots a pawn owner to get it. Yeah, the Lost Adventure basically just shows how much of the game can be skipped. Bender and Leyla section don't do it any better. Let's go with Bender section next. We leave Earth, and after Mom is unable to move Earth, in a nearby asteroid she is told that she needs Professor Farnsworth and thus attempts to capture him by using a tractor beam on the Planet Express ship. Bender attempts to flee and dies. After he comes back, he is told to deactivate the machine that controls the beam, and only does it after the professor offers him adult magazines. Anyway, Bender's gameplay is basic. He has an attack, dash, drop, and special attack that I didn't use until the last level, and that's it. We go through an asteroid, and all I can remember is that we go through mines, a boulder chases us, we fight Mom's 3 sons, and then shot off the tractor beam. Anyway, the professor tells us about a toy and that he can help us fix things. Then Mom takes the professor away and hurls the Planet Express ship into the sun, which of course they survive and land. Now they need to refuel the ship, and the only way is by helping the sun people, which is now Leyla's turn to do.
That big toaster.
Otherwise, nothing interesting happens. We collect 4 crystals and put them back in their place so we can open the door leading to the evil sun god and defeat him. I think there are more puzzles and traps in this section because it's a temple. What temple doesn't have puzzles and traps laying around? Which were mostly about matching the symbols and avoiding the obstacle. Although there were sections that you had to go through an area before it sank into the lava and were more interesting. Mind you, the camera did cause me trouble in one of them. The scenery does blur for me because it all happens in a temple. I do remember that halfway through, we get a cutscene of Leyla just crossing the river on a gondola. The enemies were just fine, but there was an exploding enemy which I wasn't sure how to take care of. Leyla doesn't have any range moves to take care of it safely like Fry, so most of the time I would try to away from it unsuccessfully since it was faster than me. The only way to get rid of it was by getting atop of something and waiting for it to explode. I want to note that the level will often bring a lot of enemies and make my PS2 drop frames. Anyway, we beat the boss, get the dark matter fuel, and leave to the corner of the universe to find a Doi. Yeah, he's a parody of exactly who you think. The gang is told of his time machine,
With it, you can travel back in time and stop Mom before she became unstoppable.
which of course isn't as simple as the generator is at the end of the swamp. It can be done manually, but it takes 2 minutes to rewind the machine, only to travel 2 minutes to the past. And we get to my least liked section in the entire game, which is where we play as Zoidberg, who is here out of nowhere.
Yeehaw! I'm a cowboy, I am!
I dislike this section because there is input delay, bad hitbox, and frame rate was really bad on PS2. Oh, and every time you die, the timer kept going so...
Okay, make it about in time.
Oh god, the last section took me a while due to these reasons, but eventually I made it.
And the crowd goes wild!
The gang goes back and leaves Zoidberg behind for the next loop.
Hello? Friends? Hello? Hello?
And it turns out it was them that trashed the ship.
Now, if I understand time paradoxes, we're supposed to take the good ship and leave the bad ship behind for the original us, right?
Bad behind... Say again?
Just get in.
Boom, we arrive to stop the professor from selling Planet Express, and then we are taken to the last section of the game. From now on, you aren't able to collect currency, so you won't be able to regain lives, which is fine if you went collecting a decent amount of currency through the game. But some parts in the final level make me lose a good amount of lives. For example, there were doors that required you to figure out the sequence. If you answered wrong or didn't put it fast enough, you would be dropped and lose the life. So to not lose more lives, I felt I had to search the answer up. There was another where you stepped on a platform. It would not only drop the one you were on, but also one that you are not on. So if you don't have the right order, then you are not getting across. As you can imagine, I searched the answer up. I did also lose a good amount of lives to a robot who I had no idea how to take down. I tried a bunch of attacks, but nothing was working until I used the dash on it. Honestly, I forgot the move even existed, but would you blame me? The normal attack worked fine, and you were never required to use other moves to defeat an enemy until now. Then the next robot was weak to ground pounds, but that was easier to figure out in comparison to the previous one. Anyway, we go through Bender and Leyla's section to pull some levers, then finally with Fry's section, we actually start without a weapon, so we have to find one first. Then we make our way to fight the giant robot.
Destructor exiting target practice mode. Destructor initiating kill all humans mode!
Oh yeah, I also didn't know you had to shoot the robot in first person until I searched that up. I completely forgot you could go in first person. I accidentally went with Leyla once and then didn't require to use it. The only time you had to shoot an enemy in first person was when you were fighting Walt. But there you used turrets since Bender didn't use a gun. And when you were using the turrets, the game put you in first person and aimed directly towards him. But not only that, the only time the robot opened their weak point was when they attacked you. So I would often get hurt since I can't move in first person. Then I would die and then restart the fight, so I tried to shoot him and somehow not get hurt. Until I found you could open the locked doors on each side by having the Destructor shoot it. Then it became easy since I could just tank the hits and then refill my health. Anyway, let's see the last cutscene.
And so, I died the way I lived, as a giant robot.
Yeah!
Nice shooting, Fry. Way to waste that evil robot.
Oh, so just because a robot wants to kill humans, he must be evil? That is so prejudiced, Leyla.
He wanted to kill you too, Bender.
Yeah? Well, you shut up!
All right, kids, I'm coming down. Oh no! The reanimator!
Bummer. We'll just have to be careful not to die from now on.
You had to say that.
Yes, it ends with Fry, Bender, and Leyla dying, which I guess is lore accurate since time travel paradoxes are destined to die. And despite their efforts, the professor still sells Planet Express because of the hat we see at the beginning. I would say it would be a funny ending, but the game was such a chore that I did feel a bit annoyed. I guess you are expected to replay the game again after beating it. But I only felt it was worth playing the game once. Back in the day when the game came out, there could have been more of a reason to play the game, especially after the series' first cancellation, but now, not so much. Especially since the series has come back again from its second cancellation and YouTube exists. I also have to remind you, it's an expensive game, so for the price, it's not worth it. But if you want to play it, just emulate the game. The only reason I didn't do it, it's because I wanted to try it on an actual console and the PS2 iPod was also chipped, so I could play the game without worrying for my wallet. But if you're gonna play it on a console, play the Xbox version as it's apparently more stable. Not that I'm recommending playing the game is a chore, but at the same time I don't regret having played the game. As a Futurama fan, it was neat to finally have played it, despite all the issues. It's not all bad, the music is great, so great that they even reused the credit music for the actual series. The full version of the intro came from here, which also means I can't play it because it's gonna get flagged. But I can play the level music. Are my favorite tracks in the game. Which ones happen to be yours? Tell me in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And with that, thank you so much for watching. This video took me a bit longer to make. Mind you, this video took me a bit of time to write. It was surprisingly hard for me to write. It took me a long time. I don't know why, but here I am. I finally uploaded the video and here it is. But anyway, if you like the video, please tell me what other games I should probably try to cover. I am in the process of playing through Family Guy the Game, but I don't know if I would actually make a video on it. But if you guys like this video and it seems to be doing well, I will make a video on Family Guy the Game. Because, I mean, I think, hey, that will be interesting, but I did also consider maybe I should play both of them, but I don't know. I just want to see how things turn out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye now.